Welcome to the official podcast of Vienna Shadows, a group whose influence stretches back centuries beneath our city's historic buildings. Episode by episode, we investigate the mysteries and legends of Austria's famous capital. Lean back and enjoy the show.
So, Vienna Shadows, ancient mysteries, that kind of vibe. That's what we're diving into today.
Right into the thick of it.
We're talking echoes of sacrifice. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, this isn't just like a standalone book,
No, not even close.
This is like dipping our toes into a much bigger pool. Vienna Shadows, they're calling it?
A whole trilogy from what I hear.
We've got excerpts, notes, outlines, the whole shebang. But the thing that's really caught my eye, it's this whole idea that they're building this world as a blueprint, like for others to jump in and play around with. What do you make of that?
It's ambitious, that's for sure. I mean, they're not just building a world, right? They're building a playground.
Yeah.
And the toys.
Oh, tell me about it. Ancient entities, shadowy cults.
A magic system that's, like, hinted at but not fully defined. They've given us the scaffolding, the bare bones, and they're saying, go wild, fill in the blanks.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So let's talk about the foundation they've laid with this first book, Echoes of Sacrifice. We're in 1920s Vienna, always a good start, and we meet Eliza Schattenhurst. She's a young artist, and her dreams, let's just say they're a bit Lovecraftian, and they're starting to bleed into her waking life.
Yeah, this isn't your typical tortured artist trope, though. Her art, it's almost like a beacon. It's attracting attention.
From some very old, very powerful forces, and those who would control them, of course.
And that's where the creators, they really blur the lines between reality and nightmare. Eliza's art, especially this one inscription she paints, it becomes this bridge between the mundane and the supernatural. It's like by giving shape to these visions, she's accidentally...
Open a door.
Exactly. And you know what walks through that door? Professor Strauss.
Ah, Professor Strauss. Our resident occult scholar, he sees that inscription and he knows. He knows it's a connection to something big, something powerful.
And let's not forget about his son, Thomas.
Yeah.
The skeptic, the voice of reason. Well, as reasonable as you can be when your dad's chasing ancient entities.
Right. Talk about family drama. Pass the salt. And by the way, have you seen the inscription that might awaken a cosmic horror?
They're dynamic, though, that father-son thing. It's fascinating because it reflects that kind of push and pull we all feel with the unknown. Do you embrace it, jump head first like the professor?
Or do you cling to logic, demand proof, like Thomas?
Exactly.
And speaking of that inscription, it's not just catching the professor's eye, is it?
Oh no, it's popping up all over Vienna.
Talk about a creepy calling card.
And where you have cryptic symbols, you can bet there are shadowy organizations lurking about.
Enter the Black Cloaks and the Crimson Cloaks. Two sides of the same coin.
Both drawn to the power this entity represents, but with very different ideas about what to do with it.
The Black Cloaks, they want control, right? Dominion over this power.
The Crimson Cloaks are more of a mystery, shrouded in secrecy. Their leader, this figure called the Raven.
Nobody knows their true motive.
Are they playing both sides? Sowing chaos? Trying to maintain some kind of balance?
It's that ambiguity that makes this world so compelling.
Absolutely. You never quite know who to trust.
And just when you think you're starting to get a handle on these factions, bam! Professor Strauss gets taken out. End of book one.
A real gut punch that was, especially since he was right about the danger.
But this being a world steeped in magic, death isn't always so straightforward.
And that's where the creators, they give us a little tease. The notes for book 2, they hint at his return as a spirit guide.
Okay, now that's interesting. A spirit guide, huh?
And he's apparently aligned with a third faction, the Golden Robes.
Golden Robes! Okay, we've officially entered secret society territory.
It's a whole new layer of intrigue, isn't it?
It really is. So Professor Strauss, dead but not gone, possibly running with a new, even more mysterious crew. This is where my brain starts to short circuit a bit.
Well, that's the beauty of a good mystery, right? It makes you question everything you thought you knew.
So true. And it makes you question everyone. Can Eliza even trust this spectral Professor Strauss?
Right. I mean, he's crossed over to the other side, experienced something we can't even comprehend. Is he still on our side, so to speak?
That this experience, changed him somehow.
And not just changed him, but changed his perspective, his priorities. It makes you wonder what he might be willing to do to achieve whatever it is the golden robes are after.
Okay, so we've got trust issues with a dead professor. Got it. What about Thomas? Where does he fit into all of this?
Well, he's still the skeptic, right? But even he must be questioning everything now. His dad, the occult, maybe even reality itself.
You think his skepticism will finally crumble? Or will he double down, demand even more proof?
It's a tough one. Because on the one hand, he's wired for logic, for tangible evidence. But on the other, this is his father we're talking about. How do you deny that kind of connection, even when it defies all reason?
It's easy for us to sit back and analyze, but if we were in Eliza's shoes, or Thomas's, could we handle that kind of pressure?
That's the question, isn't it? What would we do if we were thrust into this world of shadowy cults and ancient entities? How would we deal with the burden of knowledge?
Okay, so big existential questions aside, let's talk about the setting for a minute. Vienna. It's not just a random backdrop, is it?
Not at all. The creators have chosen it very deliberately. It's a city steeped in history, mystery. A touch of the Gothic, even. Perfect for a story like this.
And they really bring it to life. They use real locations, weave them into the story. The Vienna State Opera, St. Stephen's Cathedral, even Schönbrunn Palace.
Imagine a tense meeting between Eliza and, say, a black cloak informant, taking place in a smoky little Hurriger tavern, the smell of goulash and secrets hanging in the air.
Or a chase through those labyrinthine corridors of the Hofburg Palace, the entity's presence lurking around every corner.
They make it easy to visualize, don't they?
Totally. But it's not just the grand landmarks, it's the little details, too. The coffeehouse culture, the music scene, that post-war tension that's just simmering beneath the surface.
It grounds the story, makes it feel real.
Exactly. So if you could step into this world, what part of Vienna would you want to explore?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There are so many possibilities. Maybe those hidden passages beneath St. Stephen's Cathedral. I've always heard rumors about those.
Oh, good choice. Secret tunnels, ancient secrets. What's not to love?
Right. It's like a story waiting to be told.
Speaking of stories, we've got a second book to get to. Whispers of Echoes, it's called. Catchy. So, after that cliffhanger ending in Echoes of Sacrifice, where do things pick up?
Well, it seems the entity, the one Eliza and Professor Strauss encountered, it's not gone. Not entirely.
Oh, no. What's it up to now?
More like it's been fragmented, broken into pieces. And in those pieces, they're scattered, whispering their echoes throughout Vienna, causing all sorts of havoc.
So more nightmares for Eliza then, more cryptic symbols. Poor girl can't catch a break.
I don't think a break is on the cards for her, no. In fact, from what I gather, her artistic block is getting worse.
That doesn't sound good.
She's dealing with a lot, the trauma of what she witnessed, the loss of Professor Strauss, even if he isn't entirely gone. And then there's the growing suspicion that the entity, the one they thought was so powerful, was just a small part of something much bigger, much older.
So she's basically facing down cosmic horrors with a bad case of artist's block. Rough. But at least she's not alone, right? What about this new character, Amara Klang?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Amara. She's interesting. A jazz singer
Okay, I'm listening.
with a connection to something called the Song of Binding.
The Song of Binding. That sounds intense. And vaguely musical.
And this is where it gets really wild. Because Amara's connection to the song, it's not just, a metaphor or something. It's presented as a very real, very powerful force.
So, she can actually do things with music?
Oh, yeah. Think of it as like sonic manipulation, weaving music into the fabric of reality, healing, destruction, you name it. Her voice can do it.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about. A jazz singer who fights ancient evil with sonic waves? That's a concept I can get behind. But there's got to be a downside, right? There's always a catch.
Right, you are. The notes mention a price to be paid. Maybe vulnerability to the entity's influence, or maybe a dark side to her powers that she has to keep in check.
It's always that balance, isn't it? Extraordinary power, extraordinary risk. That's what makes these characters feel so real, even with all the fantastical stuff going on.
Exactly. And speaking of balancing acts, we've got another new character to contend with, Elias von Schatten.
Oh, yeah, him. What's the deal with Elias?
Well, he's steeped in occult lore, knows all the rituals, all the secrets, but he's driven by vengeance. Imagine a mentor figure for Eliza and Thomas, guiding them through this world of ancient knowledge, but with his own agenda always bubbling beneath the surface.
So, the classic wise old mentor with a hidden past trope.
Sure, but the creators here, they give it depth. It's not just a cliche. There's real complexity there.
I can dig it. Okay, but back to Eliza and Thomas for a sec. Things are heating up between them, aren't they?
Ah, yes, the will they, won't they tension. The notes suggest that all this shared trauma, all the fighting side by side, it's going to bring them closer.
But is it enough to overcome everything they're facing?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And then there's Professor Strauss, the ghost in the machine, or, well, the spirit guide in the love triangle. Who knows how he'll factor into things?
This is why we love fiction, right? The messiness of it all. But before we spiral down that rabbit hole, let's bring it back to the big picture. The Song of Binding. It sounds crucial to all of this.
From what I've gathered, it's not just a song. It's like the key to understanding the entity, maybe even defeating it.
Okay, now we're talking. But of course, it wouldn't be a good story if it were that easy, would it?
Not a chance. The song is fragmented, scattered across time and space. And guess what? Every faction, Black Cloaks, Crimson Cloaks, even the Golden Robes, they're all trying to piece it together.
So it's a race.
A race against time, a race against each other. And with Vienna as the playing field, the creators have really outdone themselves.
Okay, so last thoughts. We've got Eliza, our artist, with a connection to the other side. We've got shadowy cults, a maybe not so dead professor, a jazz singer with sonic powers, and a whole lot of Viennese charm. Where do we even go from here?
Well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? They've given us this incredible world, these fascinating characters, and then they leave it open for us to imagine what happens next.
And that's exactly what I hope you all do. Dive into Echoes of Sacrifice, get lost in the shadowy streets of Vienna. Who knows what mysteries you'll uncover. Until next time, happy diving.
This concludes today's investigation. If you have any information about anomalies or historical records relating to the Vienna Shadows, contact us through secure channels only. Until next time, stay vigilant. This is the podcast team of Vienna Shadows. Signing off.